would you still care about the Oscars if every actor on screen was made of code? The Academy just made a massive decision that changes movies forever. Let's talk about the signal. Welcome to this explainer, where we're going to unpack exactly why Hollywood just drew a historic line in the sand when it comes to artificial intelligence. I mean, I really want you to think about this for a second. Imagine you're watching this deeply moving, tear-jerking drama, right? You're totally invested. But then the credits roll and you find out the lead actor didn't actually exist. They were entirely generated by a machine. This isn't just some crazy sci-fi hypothetical anymore. It's an existential threat. And it's exactly what prompted Hollywood to step up and act in a desperate attempt to save the true soul of cinema. So the crucial point here is the exact language the Academy just adopted. Starting with the 99th Oscars, any acting nomination requires a performance that is, quote, demonstrably performed by humans with their consent. I know, it sounds kind of wild, right? We've literally reached a point in history where the Academy has to legally spell out that an award for human acting must actually go to a human being. But, well, here we are.
To summarize the big news, the Academy has officially banned autonomous AI from its most prestigious categories. By the 99th Oscars, which happen in 2027, AI-generated actors are completely ineligible for acting awards. No exceptions. But it's not just the actors we're talking about here. Scripts written by AI, those are out too. The writing absolutely must be human-authored.
Okay, let's dive right into this. We're going to cover the AI Hollywood invasion, how the industry is drawing the line, the human origin mandate, the crucial difference between a tool and an author, and finally, the massive global copyright war.
Part 1. The AI Hollywood Invasion, the Existential Catalyst.
You know, the speed at which generative AI has advanced over just the last 18 to 24 months has absolutely stunned the entertainment industry. I mean, we've gone from these blurry, weird-looking images with too many fingers to tech that can generate unauthorized, totally photorealistic copies of massive Hollywood properties. We're talking Stormtroopers, Shrek, you name it. The tech is so incredibly good now, it's basically indistinguishable from actual multi-million-dollar studio creations. And these aren't just isolated tech demos anymore. There are real-world catalysts that forced the Academy's hand. Take, for instance, a film in production called As Deep as the Grave. They cast a posthumous, AI-generated likeness of the late Val Kilmer to play a priest. Then there's Tilly Norwood. She is a completely artificial AI actress, and her creators were literally out there seeking real talent agents for her. Crazy, right? And perhaps the biggest shocker, director Tyler Perry completely halted an $800 million expansion of his Atlanta studio. Why? Because he saw the capabilities of OpenAI's Sora video generator and realized it could displace countless jobs literally overnight. Section 2. Drawing the line, from strikes to standards. Now, human creators didn't just take this sitting down. We're seeing a direct progression from protests on the street to codified standards in the actual rulebook. If you remember back in 2023, the Writers Guild and SAG-AFTRA went on these historic, months-long strikes. And a huge driver for that was the very real fear of AI replacing writers and actors. Ultimately, they won contract concessions requiring consent and compensation. So now, in 2026, the Academy is taking those hard-won labor protections and operationalizing them. By 2027, the labor fights of yesterday are going to become the strict artistic standards of tomorrow. Academy President Lynette Howell-Taylor really summed up their philosophical stance with this quote: "Humans have to be at the center of the creative process." And when you think about it, an actor's performance carries decades of lived human experience, right? Vulnerability, instinct. A script carries the unique worldview of its author. The Academy is putting their foot down and declaring that these emotional dimensions have to be preserved as exclusively human. Section 3. The Human Origin Mandate, Enforcing the Rules. Now, what's really interesting about this is having a philosophical stance is great and all, but how do you actually enforce a ban on something as elusive and invisible as AI? Enter the Affidavit of Human Origin. This isn't just a polite suggestion. It is a binding legal contract. Producers submitting films for Oscar consideration have to certify, under penalty of total disqualification, that the credited acting and writing was human-authored. The Academy even reserves the right to formally investigate a production's AI usage if things look a little suspicious. You literally have to be able to prove your humanity. Section 4. Tool versus author, the crucial nuance. Now, we need to clear something up because there's a huge misunderstanding out there that the Academy has just entirely banned computers and AI from filmmaking. That is absolutely not the case. The real distinction lies in the difference between a tool and an author.
AI used as a post-production tool? Totally fine. We're talking about things like cleaning up noisy dialogue, de-aging actors like Tom Hanks, or motion capture, like Andy Serkis playing Gollum. In those cases, a human is collaborating with technology to create the final performance. What is explicitly banned is generative AI making the core creative decisions. An AI cannot author a script, and it sure as hell cannot generate a lead actor from scratch. To really understand why the Academy treats them differently, you have to look at the technical distinction. Traditional CGI and visual effects amplify human expression. Every single pixel might that be painted by hand, but the composition, the timing, the aesthetic choices, those are all made by human practitioners. Generative AI, on the other hand, makes creative decisions autonomously, based on whatever it learned from its training data. At the end of the day, the machine is making the choices, rather than amplifying a human's choices. Section 5, the global copyright war. Hollywood pushes back. Let's zoom out a bit and see how this builds into something bigger. Because the Academy's decision is really just one battle in a massive global war over copyright, artistic ownership, and AI. Major studios, we're talking Disney, Universal, Warner Bros., they are actively suing AI companies like Midjourney. Their argument? These platforms are essentially virtual vending machines that just generate endless, unauthorized copies of copyrighted works. Because the AI was illegally trained on decades of human-created art, it knows exactly how to spit out perfect, unauthorized replicas of protected characters, whether that's Tweety Bird or The Flash. And this whole reckoning is happening worldwide, across basically all creative sectors. Just look at the European Union. In March 2026, they struck a deal to ban non-consensual AI deepfakes outright. Meanwhile, the UK is currently struggling to reach a consensus on an AI copyright code, which leaves artists stuck in this frustrating gray area. And it's not just movies either. Over in the literary world, major publishers like Hachette are actively dropping novels that appear to employ AI generation. Regulators and industries everywhere are just scrambling to establish some sort of guardrails. So the Academy isn't trying to regulate all of AI, but they are trying to define what a film actually is and what kind of art deserves their highest honor. It's a bold statement of values. The Oscar goes to the human. But as we all know, the technology is definitely not going to stop advancing. So what does this all mean? Well, I want to hear from you. Type in the comments of this explainer. Do you believe human emotion can ever truly be replicated by a machine? Leave a comment below with signal for yes or noise for no. Thanks for joining me on this one, and keep exploring.